What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a react to this video right here. It's from Metatron's Academy. It's titled, How Many Languages Do I Really Speak? You know what? How long is this video? Oh, this is 10 minutes. This is going to be sweet. Before we even watch this video, I gotta go check out another channel. Just super quick. I want to see if someone else has already done a react to this. You'll know exactly who I'm talking about in a sec. Okay, let's search this. So, we're gonna go... Exposing fake hyperpolyglots. Now, why would I be looking this up, huh? What's going on here? Where is it? Come on, where's this channel? I know it's in here somewhere. Come on, where is it? There's a... Oh, it's literally right here at the top. Okay. I don't know. I'm just gonna click on whatever this shit is. Yeah, I gotta see if he's done a react to this one already, guys. I just gotta know, okay? So we're gonna go to the video section. I haven't checked him in 8... Why is there a short of me in there? Okay, so, Nope, he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it, but what the hell is this? What the... Why is there a picture of me with a gun? Okay, guys, we'll just sidetrack for 1 second. I just want to see what he's saying about me.
This abnormal human made a video, something about his cat. Some fucking abnormal...
Yep, that's enough. Okay. Sorry, I just needed to get myself into the mood, you know, get myself all fired up. Okay, let's see how many languages Metatron speaks. Is he a fake polyglot? In fact, I'm going to need your help, guys. Down in the comments section, let us know. I'm assuming he's going to present language abilities. How good is he?
Hello, number ones. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and today it's a little bit more of a personal video, less images and b-rolls, and more like you and me for an informal discussion. The question is quite direct, so I'll get right into it.
I don't know why, guys, but I'm just looking at the shirt that he's wearing, and you can see the sleeves really far up, and he's white. Metatron, you must be beaming white under that shirt, eh? Like, I don't know why I'm thinking about this. And now I'm thinking, does Metatron have a hairy chest? Because I've heard a rumor, tell me if this is true, guys, that Italians generally are quite hairy. And my surname is Delamore. And I think that might be Italian. Because, like, there's, like, Delamere, which is, like, another surname similar to my own, and then there's Delamore and stuff, and it's like, and I'm kind of hairy, so is he hairy? Why am I discussing this?
How many languages do I speak? How many languages have I studied? And what languages do I consider myself fluent in? And in connection to that, why did I choose the language that I did choose? And will I add more languages in the near future? One thing at a time. Alright, first and foremost, let's go into the actual numbers. I have kind of a double native tongue, if you will, in the sense that I was brought up, obviously, with Italian. That's my first language. But do remember that I was brought up in a very specific region of Italy, meaning Sicily, the island. What that means is that I do speak both the standard language, Italian, which I have in fact studied when it comes to proper diction.
I love seeing how people's lives and their upbringings are just so different. Like, you know, Metatron grew up on this island, Sicily, okay, or whatever. And I grew up in a mining town in Australian outback. You know, if you guys have ever seen, like, those Australian, like, really freaking stereotypical movies, like, I grew up in a town that was literally called Emerald. It was named after a gemstone, and this was the type of town where no one wanted to live there, so the government literally gave away land, okay, to get people to move there, and then people would live there for a period of time, and although you got the land, you never truly owned it. I think there was like some type of thing where you could build on it, but if you ever wanted to leave, you couldn't sell the land, so you had to tear down your house. My dad actually built a house on this land. We lived there, you know, as I was young, and then when we left, he had to tear down the whole goddamn house. It was crazy, anyway. But, like, this type of town is the type of place that has, like, open mines just everywhere. And the way the people would operate there is once they finish with the mines, because they would just mine shafts just straight down into the ground, okay? They'd just go straight down, get the emeralds, you know, clean them out. Then once they're done, they just put tin on top and put some stones over the top of it. So you actually learnt as a kid as you're running around not to just, like, randomly step. Instead, you would kind of take, like, these, like, cautionary steps, and if you stepped on something and it sounded like tin, you don't walk any further in that direction, otherwise you're going to go straight for a mine shaft, who knows how deep. Anyway, completely random, but, like, this just brings up childhood memories.
You might think, but why do you need that? You're a native Italian. Right, but even people who are native English speakers might need to study diction if they want to become voice actors.
And what has that got to do with anything, like, related to languages? Basically, everyone just spoke English there, although I think at least the vast majority of people there were of German heritage. So we all spoke English, but none of us could pronounce our TH sounds.
Likewise, in Italian, we do have that sort of university approach to how to speak a language in a most proper way, if you will. And I did spend some time in university studying that as kind of a secondary module. So I do speak standard Italian and I speak the Sicilian language. Now, is it a language? Should I count it? Is it a dialect? Well, that's for an entire different video, but suffice to say that even though in Italy we do call regional languages dialetti, I dialetti italiani, the reality is that the majority of linguists now agree, and there is a certain level of consensus when it comes to the idea of these languages really being their own regional variety, actual full-on languages. One, because there is a certain level of mutual intelligibility, of course, with standard Italian speakers, but at the same time, not enough to ensure complete communication. And depending on which variety, some regional varieties are more intelligible because they're closer to Italian, meaning standard Italian, and others are more distant. Which would be the most distant ones? Probably, I would say, Northern Sardinian, Furlan from Friuli Venezia Giulia, and Sicilian, depending on which area of Sicily. So I think it shouldn't surprise that one is in the far north and the other two are on the islands, meaning detached from the mainland. So yes, if I were to switch to Sicilian, meaning not just the accent, actually switching into the Sicilian grammar, the Sicilian vocabulary, Sicilian syntax and everything, then in a lot of cases, while some words would be recognizable and the occasional sentence would be fully understood, a lot of the things I say would not be understood by people who are from mainland Italy. It's a case-by-case scenario, but that's how it would work. Also, one last...
Yeah, okay. So basically, he spawned with 2 languages. Motherfucker. I spawned with one, and one very bad one.
Last thing I want to say about that is that really...
Very bad as in, like, not a bad language to know, just as in not really an educated version of that language. That's why you guys are always mocking me.
Whether or not a language is a dialect or a full-on language is not a matter of linguistics. It is a matter of social linguistics. In fact, as one linguist once said, a language is a dialect with an army and a navy. Leaving that thought, yes, I speak...
That's where us Esperanto speakers went wrong. We never got the navy down pat. We got the army happening, but we need the navy. Need the green fleet of death.
Both natively. So I do like to consider Sicilian as a language. I don't do that just to add one number. I don't care about being called a polyglot or not.
I was literally going to joke about the fact that you just want a bonus number. Good one. He caught that one before I even had a chance to say anything.
I consider myself multilingual. That's the term I use. I just do it as a form of self-dignity, if you will. I hope you appreciate that. So, 2 languages at a native level. Then my third language is Japanese, I would say. That's a language that I studied at university. It was one of my majors because I had a double major. And so studying Japanese at university 4 years, and then I moved to Japan and spent another 4 years in Japan, speaking the language every day, building actual real contact and connections with Japanese people, and having only used Japanese for those 4 years, no English, not Italian whatsoever. It is a language that I've reached fluency in. So yes, I'm fluent. I am, gosh, what level? I'm just gonna say fluent. I can read and write, although I am a little rusty when it comes to writing the kanji now because it's been a long time. But I usually can read them unless you give me a kanji that is particularly rare. Everyday conversation, not a problem, and up to a certain extent I can translate. And I used to work as a...
I have no idea how much Chinese I can read. Like, I know at one point I was putting individual characters into Anki, and this is like going back to a time where I didn't quite know how to learn characters in the best way possible, and I managed to clock up 2,500 characters in an Anki deck. Now, the thing is, a large portion of those, no, not a large portion, probably like 200, 300, something like that, were actually radicals, or at least they were pseudo-radicals, because I deemed them to be radicals because they appeared in enough characters, although they realistically weren't radicals. So it's hard to say how many characters that I know. I can't write any of them. In fact, I could probably write about 20 characters. Just because I've seen them so much. Like, if I need to do the verb to be sure, I could just go it's like something like that. Yeah, probably not that one. Obviously, then you got big, which is da, and it's like that, and sao, and all those little like. There's a bunch that I could probably just write because I've seen so many. But like, yeah, I could only do like 20 characters. But then again, writing's not something I actually need for that language.
Simultaneous translator, Japanese English and Japanese Italian. I have experience with that, so yes, it's a language that I'm fluent in. That would be language number 3. Together at the same level, language number 4, which would be English. In fact, I'm not sure which one I should put first. Is English language number 3? Well, it's the one I picked up first as my first foreign language when I was a teenager. I spent some time in the UK, specifically in England. And then after that, I returned to Italy and then started studying Japanese. So perhaps I should put English as language number 3 and then Japanese as number 4.
Well, the way I would do this is that I would rate them based on my ability. It doesn't matter when I start studying them or use them. Even, let's say your native language isn't as good as your current use of English. I don't know. But like, I would put them in basically how good am I in comparison across languages. That's what I would do. Obviously, this is not a judgment or anything. This is just me, like, brainstorming what I would do if I actually spoke a bunch of languages. So, obviously, my English is way up there, and my Esperanto is kind of close to my English in a lot of ways, but there is certain areas within English where I am definitely better than Esperanto, and that would be specific terminology related to programming and things like that. But there's also stuff with Esperanto where I could probably speak about better in Esperanto than English, realistically. And then obviously my other languages are nowhere near that. It's like Chinese is way down there and Spanish is even way behind Chinese.
It's just that there are some professional contexts in which I'm actually more confident with my Japanese than I am with my English. It kind of depends. So let's put them at equal level. I am fluent in English, I would say, not perfect. You can tell I'm a foreigner and that it's not my first language, but I'm generally speaking able to turn on a camera and make a presentation without having to prepare it beforehand.
Now, Metatron has a phenomenal accent in English. In fact, the first few times I heard him speaking, I never actually registered that he was a non-native. Now, when I pay attention, I listen, okay, I can hear there's like a hint of something else in there, but he has a phenomenal English accent. So for those who speak Japanese and have seen him like doing Japanese videos, how good's his Japanese? Because he seems to be, like, in a fight right now about, his English versus Japanese. If his Japanese is anywhere near his English, that's fucking amazing.
And, of course, I have no problems understanding people regardless of the accent they speak with. So, Italian, Sicilian, English, Japanese. Next would be French, probably, but I'm not fluent. I'm conversational in French, but I'm not fluent. And unfortunately, I think I was this close to get to fluency at one point because I was sharing my apartment with a French friend. And so we got to practice every day, studied it at school, of course, in Italy. And my cousin is from Paris. And then I have another cousin who also speaks French fluently because she lived in Paris out of her own volition, I guess.
For those who don't speak many languages, such as myself, no, but like, I think the reason he's stressing this is because you can get to like an intermediate level in a language, and then if you stop using it, you lose it quickly. But once you get to actual fluency in a language, you can stop using it for a long time, and you might get a little bit rusty, but it will just take you like a couple of days, and you're back up there type of thing. So it's like, I feel personally, and I don't know if there's any science or anything about this, or, if anyone's looked into this before, that once you actually reach fluency in a language, and I don't know where that would be on the scale of things. I think it's not even a scale thing. I think it's a period of time at which you've been fluent in a language. It kind of almost burns into your brain to the point where it becomes difficult to forget. However, with other languages, such as, Chinese, which I'm pushing at the moment, if I let it sit for a little bit, I will lose quite a considerable amount in a very short period of time. But I can leave Esperanto to sit for like a year without using it and just bring it back up to speed within like a day or so. I know, because like before I did my C1 Esperanto exam, I actually hadn't used that language in about a year and a half in any like real conversations, just because my life had gone in different directions. So it's like, and then I just brought it up to speed quite quickly in a couple of months and went and did my C1 type of thing. So it's like, yeah, I feel like there's definitely a point at which it becomes almost cooked into your psyche.
So I did practice it. I did use it. I did use to speak, but I think I don't feel comfortable in calling myself fluent, also because it's been a few years that I haven't used it. While English and Japanese I tend to use quite often. My French, I used to use it a lot more. It's something I will pick up one day back. Maybe I would classify myself as a B1. When I was like at the height of when I was using it all the time, and maybe I could have been a B2, but I don't feel comfortable if I have to self-assess to say I'm still a B2. Maybe I'm a B1 or something like that in French.
Clip it, guys! Clip it! Let's get the clips! Let's find and bring this motherfucker down! No. We got him on tape, boys!
Language number 6 is Mandarin. Now, believe it or not, I actually spent more time studying Mandarin, because it was my minor at university together with history, than I did studying French. Still, I feel that because French is a lot easier for an Italian to pick up than freaking Mandarin, even though I put a lot more hours into Mandarin, I took tests. I never took a test of French. Well, in high school, but I mean at university. I never took a test in French, but I did take a few tests in Mandarin, and I passed them all, and it was really good. And again, I shared my flat as a student with a Chinese so that I could speak. That was my little strategy.
This is my personal feelings regarding this, okay? I've been studying Mandarin for years now, on and off, but, you know, as of recently, been getting really back into it quite hard, trying to get it to a good level. And then when I started Spanish at the beginning of this year, it was like a fucking breeze. It was like a breath of fresh air upon my face. Now, I'm not making amazing progress in it, mainly because of the type of method I'm following. But still, it's just like, it's so comfortable in comparison. Mandarin's just like as if someone's grabbed a brick and they're just like smacking you in the face constantly and then saying, why don't you understand? It's so different. And I'm assuming that's the same with like any language which is really far removed from English or a Romance language, you know, due to Esperanto and everything. It is light and day. When people talk about those categories, you know how long it takes to learn languages, I feel like they're not very accurate in some ways, because I feel like the hard ones, they're actually really, really hard. I'm not trying to shit on anyone, you know, who's struggling with Spanish or anything like that out there. It's just like, it's a night and day difference between doing those two languages.
By the way, as a student, maybe I'll tell you more about that. I had one room, I had a Japanese guy. In one room, I put a Chinese guy. In one room, I put a French guy. Well, that guy was from Belgium, the one at university, so that I could change room and practice a different.
What? I was so like wrapped up in my own little world then. He's putting a Japanese guy in a room, a Chinese guy in a room, freaking... What's going on, man? What do you mean you're putting these people in rooms? You know that stuff's not legal anymore, right? I probably misheard the first part of this conversation, but it sounds like he's got like this little Japanese guy tied up in the corner of the room and he's like, let me free, Metatron. And Metatron's like, I'll be back to you tomorrow. I'm on Chinese today.
Language. It was great. I had an interesting racket, if you will, as a university.
He's talking about rackets now. Metatron, you're just dumping everything on the webs. We've got you. We've got you, my man.
Student did that for 4 years. It was good practice. So yeah, I did have experience in daily practice of Mandarin Chinese. What's my level? Maybe low conversational. Probably low. I would put myself as a B1 again. It's kind of annoying considering the amount of years that I put into the language, but I never spent time in China.
I'm pretty much the same. I'd say I'm a B1 as well. And I've never spent like considerable time in China beyond, I think, just over a month stint type of thing. And yeah, but bloody hell, he's got Japanese as well on top of it. Oh man, god damn it, got to catch up.
Or Taiwan for that matter. And so that's, I think, what I am missing. I do believe that if I were to spend 6 months in a Mandarin speaking environment where I only speak Mandarin every day in and day off, I do believe that I could finally get to a point, not fluency, but perhaps solid conversation. At the moment,
I think if I was to make that type of plan, I would want to get to a B2 before I went to China and tried to survive there by myself. Otherwise, I feel like I would make much better progress if I was at a B2 level, because I would be able to figure out enough from context to be able to learn a lot via context. But at a B1 level, I feel like there would be still too much that I would be missing on the day-to-day basis that it would probably just be as beneficial as what I'm doing right now, which is, watching content and just practicing speaking by myself. But then again, I don't know, because I've never lived in any country to try and learn a language before. So that's just a personal thought.
Moment, I'm conversational. It's easier for me, however, to speak and make myself understood and perhaps share my thoughts than it is for me to understand. I do understand Mandarin speakers, but sometimes some accents throw me off. I'm more used to the northern accents because my teachers were all from Beijing than I am to southern accents. So sometimes when someone speaks with a southern accent or a Taiwanese accent, I might need some time to adjust. And then apart from that, I do believe I have a little bit of a lack of vocabulary in the language.
He sounds exactly the same as me, realistically. I'm exactly the same. Northern accents, because also that's what the standard, Putonghua is based off of. So the closer you get to Beijing, the more comprehensible it becomes. You go down to like Chongqing, down in the south of China, and it takes a while to adjust to their specific way of speaking. Generally, the fact that they convert all their SHs to S's and their CHs to C's and all that type of stuff. I don't know, technically how to say it phonetically or whatever, but the phonetics change of the language. And Taiwan's interesting because in some areas they seem to be like that, and in other areas they seem to be more closer to Putonghua as well. So
I would say lower conversational for my Mandarin, but hopefully something that I will be able to pick up soon whenever I have a little bit of free time and get it to a decent level. I'd like to get my Mandarin to B2. That will make me feel nice. So these are my 6 languages. Have I studied anything else? Yeah, I studied Latin and I studied modern Greek. Do I speak Latin? No. In fact, there is one presentation. Whenever I do a presentation in Latin, it's something that I prepare, I study, I write down, I rehearse. So yeah, I have some training in the language, but it's not a language that I could just switch on like I do with these other languages and just start speaking to someone. And that's the same for modern Greek, which is...
Damn it. I really need to in some way find a way to be paid to learn languages. I would purposely go learn Latin just to shit on Metatron. just to be annoying, type of thing. Yeah, it would be fun. Just try to chase him, and then I'd probably see him be fuck it, I'm gonna go at Latin as well. Yeah, I need more time.
The language I know the least of. I only know a little bit of modern Greek. So 8 languages. We want to look at the number of languages that I've actually studied. 6 are the ones that I can have a conversation in. 4 are the ones that I consider myself fluent in, 2 of which I'm native. So that would be the case, the situation, the scenario, if you will. What are my plans for the future? My plans for the future are, first and foremost, to reach at least B2 in all the other languages. So language number 5 and 6, I would like to bring them to a B2. And then if possible, fluency. After reaching that, I would probably pick up a new language. So language number 9, something Nordic, maybe Swedish or Icelandic are the 2 candidates that I have in mind. Probably Icelandic. So that would be my next goal. Now, why did I choose these languages? It's always a matter of passion. I like the history, I like the civilization, and I'm intrigued by the sound of the language. I also like the countries and the people from those areas that they speak them, and that's usually what draws me in the most. So that's the story of my language journey up to this point. I'm very happy with it. I have a fantastic time. I never really was bored. Whatever I was doing, I always made it fun. And that's, I think, what really allowed me to reach a reasonable number. Am I a polyglot? I don't particularly care about that term. As I say, I like to refer myself as multilingual. And I think I will leave it at that.
Okay, and I guess the real takeaway from this is that this is a lifetime worth of effort right here. And then obviously 2 of those languages are native languages. But that's a lifetime worth of effort. Of hard effort to get to this point. But
if you have questions, let me know in the comments
But this is the point. He's a fake polyglot. He's a fake. He's totally fake. Where's the proof? No Japanese speaking, no French speaking. Did you see his eyes looking off to the side? He was faking English as well. No, I couldn't help myself, guys. But it's actually funny. I still get comments to this day on my channel all the time where people are like, I never see you speak any other language yet. You talk about, learning languages as if you've got some authority. You know what? I actually got one of those comments. I'll show you. Yeah, like this comment right here. Dude, I've never seen you speak any other language before. And I'm like, are you asking where you can find me speaking other languages? I have 500 to 600 videos speaking Esperanto on this very channel. And I've also dropped a Chinese video. I mean like a 30-minute to 1 hour non-scripted conversation with a native speaker. Bro, I've even got that. Well, it's not quite an hour long, but I have a 17-minute long unscripted video of me talking with an Esperanto native speaker. Do you know how fucking rare that shit is to like bump into an Esperanto speaker and then like set up a video where you like speak for like 17 minutes or something? So yeah, it's fucking funny anyway. And yeah, then I got my C1 cert. That's right, bitches. I'm certified. I'm a certified nerd. Oh, and for those who I have been asking because they wanted to see the certificate, I believe it's getting printed this month. From memory in the email chain that was sent to me. It's being printed in Europe, obviously, and then it's going to be sent down sometime within the next few weeks. When it rocks up, trust me, I'm going to be showing you guys, okay? Because, that's like one of the massive achievements of my life. That one comes just ahead of marriage. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. And if you're not there, well, I will find you, and I'll give you a herniated disc.